Shut up and sit down.
Well, hello, Internet! We are back, and hopefully this time with 100 less tech issues. I think I got everything fixed. We'll find out, I suppose. I am Draven Dresden. With me this week, a returning... I don't know what we want to call him, so we'll just call him... It's a shaved Wookiee. Okay. Galv, how you doing? You've been busy the last couple of weeks. I know you're not feeling good today, so...
That too. Yeah, I'm fighting some sort of cold. It had an amazing combination of stuffy nose and some other bad things and some diarrhea. Anyway, it was basically by like getting hit by a warlock. It was really nasty. But yeah, I had family in town. Was in Kansas City on vacation for a bit. So yeah, it's been a couple of weekends, and hopefully we'll make it through tonight with no health tech issues. So yeah, how have you been?
Actually, this is the first time I've been home for the weekend. I've been dog sitting at my parents' yesterday, today. I literally got home about half an hour ago. Got set up for this. And then as soon as we're done, I get to go back. Because they're not going to be back until tomorrow afternoon sometime. So, that's fun.
That's fantastic. See, I just centered myself on the camera. How about that? That's an improvement, right?
Yeah. I mean, less game time for me, but honestly, I needed the break anyway, kind of. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, we missed you in raid for a little bit, and then you were right back anyway, which we appreciate.
Well, WoW crashes.
It's like lightning crashes, but it's WoW.
Yeah. Let's fix this real quick. That was bothering me. Okay. There we go. All the behind-the-scenes stuff going on during the show. Woohoo. Anyway.
3 cheers for fails. Hip, hip. Oh.
Hip, hip. Dang it.
Ah.
Hip, hip. Ow,
hip,
firework.
Hip. Oh, fireworks.
Yes. So, yeah. It's been a thing. But, it is what it is, right?
True that.
Yeah.
And there's actually some interesting things going on, too. So, it'd be nice to put a bow on it.
Luckily, in terms of, WoW stuff, I did all that stuff early on. So, all I'm missing is random dailies for alts I don't play anyway.
Right, yeah.
Maybe a couple transmog tints that I don't have, but, I'm not overly worried.
We'll get there too. I got some interesting. I got some thoughts on that, but yeah.
Anyway, fun times. I guess we should probably just go ahead and get into the massive amount of news, which involves no Diablo, no StarCraft, unless Galv insists on bringing it up. No Hearthstone.
Just a bit. There's only a little bit.
All right, so we'll get there.
It burns, my precious. It burns us.
It burns us. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and start with Heroes, because that seems to be the most popular.
Absolutely.
And if you notice by the title screen, which is now up on the screen again.
Amazing. This is a great splash.
Yeah. Well, it's a Blizzard piece of artwork, so we're allowed using it without any issue. But
yeah, but doesn't that get you excited to use a character you might not ever play?
I'm a player. I just don't know if I'll play her past like level 5. It depends on how strong she is, honestly. If I don't, or how much I like playing her, because I do play some characters that are weak, but I like playing them, so I play them anyway. But it is High Inquisitor Whitemane of the Scarlet Crusade. My one complaint out of the entire kit is she doesn't have a res.
Can I guess?
I just said it.
Oh, she doesn't have a res. Yeah, that's a thematic fail on Blizzard's part. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like, her entire scenario in the game involves her resurrecting people. Like, that's her thing. Right? Am I missing something, or is that what you're agreeing with?
It's not her entire thing. It's just her most well-known thing. Like, you kill her lieutenant or whatever, and she comes running out, no, stuns everybody and reses her friend, and then they're both there. So I was like, okay, she's almost got to have a res, and she did. I was like, oh.
Or like a 30-second long stun, AoE stun.
Well, that's pushing it.
Because she also does that, but yeah.
Yeah, having a stun I could see, but I was really hoping to see a res, and it's just not there. That being said, res is kind of a broken mechanic where, oh, we're winning. Crap, no, we're not. One of those kind of things. So
I feel like what they could do instead of a straight-up res is some ability that lowers the cooldown on the res timer, maybe?
Well, we've got so many characters that do that now anyway. Like, you've got Malthael.
Yeah.
If he completes his quest thing, he gets quicker every so often. Kel'Thuzad has his phylactery talent. Heck, Leoric has the mechanic where he stays on the map, he just doesn't do any actual damage.
And then there's Eggy. Flippy. Murky.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I will... excuse me. I will try her. It just depends on how she feels whenever I play her. Healing isn't really my thing, so...
Then this could be the healer for you.
There are a couple healers that I do like. I like playing Stukov. Lucio is one of my favorite healers, so I don't actually have to heal. I just have to stand near people.
Yeah, so let's dig into her just a few moments here. Is that she's got Zeal, which is her feature ability. And what that does is she puts Zeal, or has abilities that put Zeal as a buff on one of her allies. And then all of her other meta is built around the damage she does to opponents heals the person with Zeal. And there's a lot of interesting things that they've got cooked into that mechanic. The question is, will that really integrate well into the current game, especially because, as they point out quite obviously, she has no escape mechanism.
She'll need protected, but she is a disc priest, sort of.
I would identify her as disc.
Yeah, she's the closest thing to a disc priest. She doesn't do shields. Like, put her and Medivh together, that's a disc priest. His shield plus her stuff.
So you suggest that maybe a two-headed character that two people can independently play with Medivh and then Matt, with Sally Whitemane.
I would say that would be terrible. We've got one of those already.
Medivh Sally?
Yeah, we've got one of those already. We don't really need another one. It's an interesting idea. I just don't like facing that kind of thing. And with rare occasion, like the high-level play, you'll see it once, maybe twice a year. And that's just because they set something up for it on a very specific map, and the other team didn't see it. And most of the time it doesn't work. But, it would be different, but I don't want to see it.
Also, I think that they haven't introduced enough variety in skins for her to make her, pop culturally appealing right now either.
Well, she's got her main skin, which, despite the outcry from a lot of people that I've seen, they saw the picture that is our title screen, and oh my god, she's in pants! And then they see her in-game, and she's not in pants. So...
She's got a mermaid tail. Spoiler.
She's got her thing. But I'm sure her her other skins, at least one of them will have pants. It's not. I don't care either way. That kind of thing doesn't ever bother me one way or the other. I still think that Bikini Stitches is one of my favorite skins in the game because it's so absurd.
Hey, we all have something we can relate to in life.
I don't know how I should react to that.
Yeah. Other than that, in Heroes of the Storm news, I haven't seen anything else really squiggly out there aside from. I thought that they did a really good job introducing this character, although I was kind of surprised that it was this character. Like, it seems like it's a reach,
Yeah.
not necessarily a guy either.
Oh, it's okay. So they teased it out. It was just a picture of a door partially open. Couldn't really see in.
So, and then the hamster ball went by. Oh, not this game. Sorry,
else. Yeah,
something else.
And people started speculating it might be. Like, I know I in particular was like, is this going to be the first quote-unquote Nexus original character? Where it's not anything from any other Blizzard game, but because of what they're doing, they could throw in a Nexus original. It has nothing to do with any of their properties. I'm glad it isn't, because I don't really care for that idea. And as soon as the next little teaser thing they did had the doors open and you could see where it was, I was like, it's Whitemane, 100%, because it was that tunnel, and the
Finally, we get a res. Oh.
Yeah, but it was that chapel thing. Like, I knew what it was, because I'd been there so many freaking times. And I can't remember the name of the other dude, but I remember her. So I was like, that's who it's got to be. And then
Lieutenant dies easy.
Yeah, Lieutenant dies and reses and then dies again. He really should think about a name change. That's really long. So, I liked the teaser. I mean, other than that first one, it didn't really have any, who is it? And then, because as soon as it opened, I was like, oh, that's who it is. So, but, every now and then, I like having that kind of thing and not having, here's a teaser of claws on a dragon. No, that's just from the cinematic. It's Diablo clawed the dragon, and they're still introducing D.Va.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But
it is nice, as someone in chat pointed out, that we have a hero named Sally now. Or Sal for short. Sal White.
Oh god. I wonder if Sal Mysis is going to main this hero because it showed her name.
Right. If only it was a shaman.
That would be interesting. But yeah, she might. I don't know. She likes playing tanks and stuff, so who knows. But yeah, other than that, HGC is going on. I think they're still actually going live right now. If not, they're just about over. Or just ended. Not a whole lot of, really much anything in terms of heroes going on outside of that. So I guess we can move on to my fave. Oh, what? Oh, sorry.
I'm breathing deeply so I can give you the 30 seconds of Hearthstone.
Okay, 30 seconds of Hearthstone. Go.
All right, so the one thing that's been going on for a couple weeks now is the Fire Festival. And during the Fire Festival, all of your quests paid double gold. This week in particular, there's a PvE Tavern Brawl that you can still play, and that's you fight against Ragnaros and Ahun, and they take turns. Please beat them because they're too annoying to leave alive. Enjoy Hearthstone for the week. Back to you, Draven.
I appreciate it was less than 30 seconds. I was counting it slightly slower. Technically, 30 seconds would have ended now. So we're going to move on to Overwatch League.
Excellent, because that's big news.
If you have not watched the finals, spoilers, we are going to spoil it. Okay, there was your warning. Finals was Philadelphia Fusion versus the London Spitfire, and much to absolutely no one's surprise, because London has actually won stuff. London 2-0'd Philly, so they're the inaugural champions, and their Widowmaker Prophet, Widowmaker / Hanzo,
fantastic. Yeah, he is amazing.
Player of the was MVP of the series.
So I picked Philly Fusion as my home team based on I lived in Philly for 9 years. But I had not expected them to take down the Spitfire, who, honestly, I didn't think were going to make much of themselves earlier in the season. When things kicked off, the Spitfire weren't... I mean, they were kind of like a surprise they're that good.
Yeah, whenever the season started, it was really strange because there was a few teams that were like, okay, these are the teams to look out for, and then here's a couple other teams that no one really paid attention to.
Yeah.
And it was the ones that no one really paid attention to that were the really good teams, and the ones that were like, oh my god, we're really good, never really did much, like, say, the Dallas Fuel. They just never went anywhere. And then you have teams like Seoul, Seoul, or Shanghai Dragons, rather, who sadly did go the entire season without a win.
I think it speaks to how the teams played out, not necessarily the talent they had on the teams, but where those pieces meshed well. They their additive value as a group in group play was better than the sum of the parts. They really gelled together.
Yeah, and then there was also the whole. I know Seoul Dynasty was pretty much right out the get-go. They were the favored to win out of everybody, and they ended up not really doing anything. So that is the opposite example of lots of talent. Prohibitive favorites if you were a betting person at the very beginning of the season, like bet on a finalist, and that was them. And no, they didn't have the cohesion. It didn't really, whether it's communication or what, to pull it together. And then frickin' London just sniped the hell out of everyone. Yeah, pretty much. I won't say it only came down to, but this was a major factor. The better Widowmaker and or Hanzo of the match, that team won for the most part. Which makes sense, because if you can headshot and kill someone, you have the advantage.
Right. And if you have a Widowmaker duel going on, there very quickly becomes a disparate level of skill evident between those two players. Because who was the other guy? Soon? Was that the other really solid... no. Was who's the other Widowmaker guy?
Oh, I would have to...
You know what I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about, and I know next season it's going to be Flower. Because that's just how it's going to work. Rip anyone facing...
There was another guy... Yeah. There was another... But the point is, when Prophet and this guy faced off, it was basically a deadlock, and Prophet came out with the wins here and there, because he would pick off other people too. But it was basically Widows versus Widows. Or Hanzo, whatever. Yeah, your point is well taken. Those sniper headshotters are key roles.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to take care of chat real quick. But yeah, it was I got to watch it on my parents' big TV out in their living room because I couldn't find it on ESPN because they don't get that channel.
No, ESPN doesn't have that kind of ratings.
But it was on one of the Disney channels, which was weird that I voluntarily put on a Disney channel. But it was Overwatch, and I got to watch Overwatch on a 55-inch screen TV, which is big compared to what I'm used to. So, yay! So that was fun.
I gotta remember to claim this loot too.
Yeah, I got 300 Overwatch tokens today from there. At the end of the match you get a token. At the end of the match you get a token. Every now and then you'll get a random 100. Well, today I got 300. So I was like, yay! So I gotta log into Overwatch. I keep meaning to, but I don't have time. I didn't realize I was gonna be gone all weekend. So yay.
I'm just digging through Twitch Prime loot right now to make sure I remember to grab it.
Yep. Speaking of Twitch Prime, There's Overwatch stuff in it this time. Why don't you, since you're literally going through it, why don't you talk about it?
All right, so here I am. I'm digging through Twitch Prime, and right now there's an Overwatch Wrecking Ball loot box bundle that you can get. So 2 Wrecking Ball loot box. I can remember to sign in for here, and 1 golden loot box in September, and another one in October are coming with your Twitch Prime membership. And if you guys don't already take advantage of that on Twitch, that also gives you a free subscription, which you can use for Draven's Epic Fail podcast channel. Wait, what was that?
You could.
What?
I won't understand your decision to do that unless you're really looking for the Hogger emote that we have, and I don't know of anyone else that has it. But that really
That's
wouldn't
fantastic.
work anyway because it's not the $5 one. But yeah, you could use your Twitch Prime here, or I would not be upset if you use it somewhere else instead. But I would prefer you use it here. That'd be lovely. I'm terrible at self promotion.
I'm claiming other loot too right now while I'm looking. You got me on a bender now.
No good. Bite his shiny metal. Alright.
Alright, I'm all set.
Okay.
So got all the loot. Got all the loot.
That's pretty much all the not WoW stuff, honestly.
Well, WoW didn't have any news in the last week or two, so we can just end
there
the
was
show on a high note.
absolutely nothing. I mean, we got the pre-patch, but there was nothing new. Wait, no, this is week 2. There was there was something new this week.
They gave us a chicken nuggets worth of stuff.
Yeah. So War of Thorns is what they're calling it, and this is week 1. Basically, you go to Darkshore, you do some stuff. I'm going to get so much flack for this. Basically, the Night Elves built a wall and made the Forsaken pay for it.
Well, I mean, I get, but I have to ask. So, are we spoilering the new content, or are we just sort of like glossing? It's just a 1 quest series.
Yeah, it's 1 quest series. There's nothing huge that came out of this.
Okay. So what we learned, and minor spoiler alert, is that if you have Malfurion and he is fighting against Sylvanas, he can root her, and she can scream profanities at her people that run into the wall, and they paid for it. Yeah, I got you.
That's the joke. But yeah, I mean, next week on Tuesday supposedly is National Fire Day on Azeroth. We'll just call it that.
So I did put on Track Humanoids, and I was checking to see if Nomi was in Teladrisil. And I should have not bothered because it wasn't on fire yet. So I'm wondering if he shows up on tracking, will that be the match that burns the camel's back?
Okay. But yeah, there's new stuff coming Tuesday. There's new stuff coming Tuesday after that. And then after that is Battle for Azeroth Day. So I guess that'll be just about it for spoilers. Because, I mean, there really wasn't anything spoilery. It's like literally the first quest that it happens.
Yeah, it seemed interesting. It seemed like an interesting stage setter. Bounced you around. Some people are like, "What's Darkshore?" Because no one's had to go there for 3 or 4 years now. Yeah.
Not since Kata when they redid everything. Pretty much, yeah.
Right. And the other interesting thing I would say around that is that the tuning, people are getting used to the tuning for the last 2 weeks. So I've been trying to do stuff out.
There's some interesting things. Some stuff's hitting harder than it should. Running your formerly highly geared DPS tunes through heroics as a tank is no longer a good idea. So that was fun. Luckily, I had decently eye-leveled prot weapons whenever I did it, because I had to switch for the last boss, because the other people in the random just did not understand, hey, CC crap, because they're so used to not. But yeah.
There's a couple other pieces though too in here.
Oh yeah. We've got. Well, we were talking about tuning, so we'll just skip to this last one here before we go back to the others. Leveling is a kind of tuning, and between level 60 and level 80 is a little slower in terms of pacing than Blizzard really wants.
And I mean, that's something that I've ended up talking to people in. Like 4 times so I can unmute you.
Yeah, apparently. I didn't realize. Actually, yeah.
I was actually claiming the PUBG loot while we were talking as well. Alessandra's all like throwing darts at the dartboard and getting bullseyes on us left and right here. She's like the anti-spoiler.
Yeah, well, I didn't, having gone through it, I didn't look at it as really a spoiler, but I guess if you haven't played it, it kind of is, so.
Yeah, we didn't really spoil what happened, though, aside from the part where Malfurion roots Sylvanas, which
we're just gonna leave it alone, just in case. Moving on, leveling. I've got multiple tunes in the 60 to 80 range, like my Nightborn Mage is like 60-ish. I don't remember. He's out in North, or she's out in Northrend technically, and I just haven't touched because I was looking at it. I was like, this is taking a lot longer than I thought it would, even in heirlooms.
Right. And
I figured out that's because they changed something back in 7.3.5, and now with 8.0, it's different, and it'll take even longer. So they're working on it. They're going to fix it. I would imagine they're going to make the heirlooms maybe not more powerful, but they might up the percentage.
All right, which mount are we talking about, Alessandra? I'm missing out on the mount question.
Do I need to run it on my 110s or just one each faction, Alessandra? She's talking about the mounts that you get for going through the entire quest chain. There's a bat type thing for Horde, and I don't even know what the Alliance one looks like at this
Some
point.
variant of a ram.
Yeah, it's something. But in order to get that mount, you have to do it on that faction. You don't get both of them for one side. So, lucky for me, I've got 19 110s I can go through.
You can kill them off as often as you like.
Yeah.
So the tuning piece is actually something that's come up in a lot of conversations, though, between people. Is saying, how do you make all this massive content that Blizzard has accessible to new players and such? Like the barrier to entry. And one of our team members said, "Well, you can just buy a boost." Yes, you could. But if you want people to actually use the content Blizzard has created over the last 10 years or whatever it is, then how do you balance it out? And there have been suggestions from one of the things I said is, why don't you just scale all the zones, scale everything up to LFR.
The way it's set up now, I'm okay with how they scale. Like Old World scaling has its level ranges, and then Outland Northrend has its level ranges, like that kind of thing. I'm okay with that. But that's still, right now, 110 levels, and it takes a while.
Yep.
Because they got rid of all of the, I don't want to call them exploits, but all of the shortcuts. I'll call them that. I'll call them shortcuts. All of those are gone. You do not get XP from Legion invasions unless you are 90. I think 90. Maybe it's still.
I guess I didn't realize people were doing that. That's funny.
People were going there at like 50. Like, they would get a mage portal to New Dalaran.
She's got to be defending all the fish.
But there were people who would get get mages to teleport them to the New Dalaran. They would set their Hearthstone there because they don't get a Dalaran Hearthstone. And then they get friends to take them to the invasions, and then they would just stand there and soak up the XP.
1 to 60 should be the captain each. Yeah, there something like Theory is just saying there, where there was other suggestions, like Hallen said in one of our chat groups, that there should be some sort of class-based adventure theme, because you can't even go through a whole zone and do all of the quests. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do one zone to get like 20 levels, or you can't finish. By the time you complete one zone range, you're already out of range of that stuff too. So, I think that something could be done there to at least get you through parts of the game. Maybe class based or whatnot.
I don't know if this is feasible, because it would take a lot of work, like more than the Cataclysm rework, and we all know how much people love that, because that was stuff that we didn't get because they did the rework of the old world. But a complete level rework everywhere. Instead of 1 to 60, make it 1 to 40. Still do the scaling. I'm fine with that.
So a level squish.
A level squish. But then Outland is 5 levels. Wrath is 5 levels. All the way up to whatever is current. When it's current, it can still be 10 levels, because everyone knows they'd rather level up 10 than 5, because it's only 5 levels, was a thing for 2 expansions. So whenever it's new, you still get to 10, and then a couple of expansions down the line, it squishes down to 5, and it takes, less XP to get to, all that. I could be okay with that, but either way, just with the item level squish and how many bugs are going on there, I mean, yeah, it was better than last time, kind of. How bad would a actual level squish be?
Well, the problem is whenever they do a squish of any of those types, it sets off a chain reaction of mathematical equations down the line, because that stuff was not balanced. Like, it just wasn't tuned correctly during that last item level squish. But at least then they're fixing it. It's a transition period. Everything's in flux, and you know to expect it.
Yeah, another suggestion from Alessander is just get rid of XP. The problem there is not everyone wants the story part of it. They want the levels, they want the gear. I mean, as long as there was something to show I got stronger, it doesn't have to be levels.
Tie attack power to achievement points.
Sure. I'll take that. I'd rather you tie strength to it, but or whatever you're.
I was just generically being sarcastic about it, because that's what that solution is. The person that's experienced the most content is the best.
Yeah,
well, it has the highest advantage.
Yeah, the problem is there is no right answer to this, because if there was a right answer, someone would have thought it up. And Blizzard would have done it.
Blizzard's watching us right now,
Well, more than likely. I don't see how
they're always watching.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could go all night about.
Yes.
One thing.
Let's talk TV. Tell me about TV. I like TV.
I can tell. I was watching Overwatch on TV earlier. I didn't see any of the quote-unquote reasons why you're brought up TV. But
I used to get it all on UHF, but I can't anymore.
But since you brought up TV and UHF, I don't know what that has to do with anything. I know. But there were 4 more... Well, technically there's 6 more commercials, but only 4 really had any meat to them. Like two of them is literally, one is Sylvanas' face, one is Anduin's face. That's it. But there's 4 that are actually full-blown 30-second commercials. 30-ish. Do you have a favorite out of those 4? Did you see them?
No, I've been looking for them. I was hoping that, like, well, my favorite's Mr. T, but that's not one of the new ones.
All right, so there's one where a lady walks out of, I'm assuming, a hotel, and it's raining, and she's got her jacket up, but you don't see anything about the jacket. You just see it's covering her head. There's a dude under an umbrella. He invites her over. She gets under the umbrella, puts her, her jacket down, and then she looks up, and it's a Horde umbrella.
Oh!
So she walks back away, puts her jacket back up, and that's when you see the alliance symbol on her jacket. And it's, things, it was just little silly things. There was one involving a baby and the baby's parents.
I am watching it right now.
The baby one?
Yeah, I found them all just while we were talking.
Yeah,
I see it.
They're
cute.
silly, but they're funny.
I haven't seen any of these on TV or anywhere yet, just the internet so far.
Yeah. I haven't seen them on TV either. But I don't really watch TV outside of... I watch the Overwatch League. Outside of that, I've got movies and DVDs and Blu-ray and stuff like that, so... But yeah, there's that one. There was the baby one. There's the one on the train. And I don't remember the other one.
All right. I'm almost done.
Yeah. I don't remember.
But I have a favorite.
My personal favorite is the rain one. The rain with the umbrella.
I like the elevator.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the elevator was the other one.
Because the dude's eyeing him the whole time, like, he's sticking it to him on purpose, which I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. I like the umbrella one. That was also the first one I saw, so that might have factored into it. But yeah, that was fun.
I haven't. When's the last time? Was it in the Mr. T era? The last time that any of this stuff, like, really, they did anything with it?
They've always put out commercials for the new expansions, but they don't always go to... How do I say this? Because these were just quick, silly things. Like, I know Warlords, for WoD Warlords, they went to Times Square and put a giant axe through a cab.
Which is notable.
Yeah, that was probably the best part of the expansion, was the advertisement prior to it. The leveling of it was pretty good too, but once you got done with leveling, it was like... Yeah. But yeah, they've always done like teaser, like, hey, new expansion. But sometimes they go a little over with, and they do stuff like this.
Didn't they launch the Legion advertisement during the Super Bowl? Am I misremembering? Didn't they advertise it during something big?
Probably, but I don't remember. Yeah, honestly, Theory in chat, hi Theory, he mentioned Night Elf Mohawk. That series is probably what, commercial-wise, WoW is most known for.
It was fantastic. That was my favorite.
I mean, you got these famous people who may or may not play WoW. Some of them did, some of them didn't, and it was obvious. But that's the series that, like the Chuck Norris one. He doesn't know what the game is. He took a job.
He got paid.
He got paid. Yeah, he got paid. That was it. But because of the Baron's chat, they were like, well, we should make a Chuck Norris one. Ozzy as a warlock made sense. I don't think he actually played, but I don't know. Either way, that series of commercial is the more famous of the WoW commercials. And then you got these ones here, they're just kind of silly. And I mean, they make sense, but they're not making sense. I was gonna say if that makes sense, and then I was like, that's just too much of that word.
I understand you. At least a little bit.
Yep. And then there's another new thing. It's called the Call to Arms. If you go over to the WoW website, you scroll down a bit, you find something called Call to Arms feature. What it is you can pick one of your characters and a battle stance. It pretty much picks your battle stance, but you can pick yourself and two of your friends. As long as they're the same faction, you can pick them. Like for my Alliance character, I can't pick a Horde on my side. You get 3 Alliance or 3 Horde, and you got multiple picks for backgrounds. And then you can basically screenshot it, and boom, you have something for you and your friends, and it has the character names above their heads and all that. And that's the first time they've ever done that I can recall.
All right, what part of the page is it on? Because I'm there now.
Okay, you go into the WoW page, where I know there's an easier way to get to it, but I call it worldofwarcraft.com. You scroll down, so eventually in the news feature, you're going to see something called Call to Arms. And you get a background, which you can change. There's like 15, 20 different options, something like that. And then you pick one of your characters, and then you can have up to 2 friends. Same faction.
Draven, what if you don't have 2 friends?
Well, you can pick random characters, as long as they're the same faction. You just have to know the spelling. But
I'm going to dig into that one later because I hadn't been able to find it, and that sounds interesting to me too.
Yeah, it's different, but it was interesting. Yeah. See if I can find it real quick.
Advertise for your very small raid team of 3.
It's not really for your raid team. It's just more a silly thing for your friends.
Yeah, but you could. Like, didn't they have? Was either Convert to Mythic or another group have like pictures of all their people in their description? Like now, you could actually like on your web page for your raiding team do that. The healers could be in their own little threesome, and your hunters could be in their own little threesome with their pets. Lots of threesomes.
No comment. Yeah, I'll have to go look for it. But it is a pretty cool little feature. No. Just no Galv. Moving on, because we have to. If you were here for the pre-show, you got to hear the original version of the Jaina. I was tempted, the Warbringers song. I was tempted to use Charm. I can't really call her WoW parody, but she does songs, and sometimes they're WoW related. She just literally covered this one. I was going to use that one. I went back and forth. I was like, I like both of them. But
Jaina's a salty, salty sailor.
I'm going to have to flick you in the forehead. But I ended up picking the original one just because it just seemed more appropriate. Maybe next week I'll use the other one. I don't know. I know for a fact you had to have watched it by now.
Yes, absolutely. It was good.
Yeah.
I think that it was one of those trippy, mind-bending, out of this body experience type things where the ghosts of the past are sort of showing Jaina something. And if you haven't seen it yet, it's definitely worth a watch. And the music is of good quality. And I think the lyrics are in the theme of that sea shanty theme, which are very appealing and interesting. So yeah, Jaina is. I think we've all been waiting for some story around Jaina to be coming out here, and I think we're gonna get it. The song kind of teases that a bit.
Yeah. So earlier this week, and I'd watched. By the time I did this, I had watched that 8-9 times. I noticed something. And I wasn't sure if it was just me, so I backed it up. I looked at it again, and it looked different. Up until a certain point in the little video thing there, Jaina has always had obvious blue eye, like super blue eyes.
Yep.
But at a certain point, the blue started to fade. Like, I mean, it wasn't like a noticeable, like right in front of your face, the blue just kind of faded away. It was just, over time, it was less and less blue. And then a little bit of yellow started. I could see a yellow tinge, at least.
When you mix those...
I wasn't mixing anything. I just... they're still like a blue, but they're a little more blue-gray now, but they do have a yellow tinge to it. And then
they've got that...
I was like, wait a minute. Okay, fine. I made fun with the Jaina Dreadlord thing for a long time. And I'll admit that theory. But I just realized, okay, who else has quote-unquote yellow eyes? Illidan had gold eyes, not yellow.
Right. How about the Guardians?
Guardians.
Medivh and...
No, they had normal eyes.
No, normal eyes?
Yeah. So I went looking for a theory that I had in my head, and I marked this as tinfoil hat. Ashara has yellow eyes. At least now. They were gold. They're now yellow. There is a difference. I couldn't find any old pictures of Neltharion or Deathwing prior to Deathwing. But as Deathwing, he has yellow eyes.
I follow you. The Black Prince.
I can't... He's got red eyes.
I thought he had gold eyes when he was in human form. Or is it gold and red?
I remember red. Maybe I'm wrong.
I might be wrong.
It wouldn't surprise me if he had gold eyes, to be honest. But I was like, what do all these characters have in common? I was like, okay, Illidan had gold, so I could throw him off to the side. Ashara currently has yellow. Deathwing had yellow. What do they have in common? N'Zoth. And now I'm seeing...
Oh, I hear you. Yeah.
She's out at the sea. I'm seeing a start of a yellow tinge in her eyes. I'm not saying fully corrupted, but I'm saying maybe possibly the start of. And if they do go this way, I am not saying we're going to kill her. I'm going to say she is going to end up resisting it and end up saving us.
I think it's just salt on the camera.
I mean, it's possible it was just a lighting thing where everything was grayed out a bit and it just made it look that way.
Salty Mage Jaina.
I sent a tweet out and I sent it to certain people. Talius and Inevitel was one, Pyromance, some YouTubers. But I also carbon copied it to Taryn Gregory and I don't know his name off the top of my head, but the guy who actually wrote the script and the screenwriting for it, he was in charge of that project with Jaina. He liked it. Whether or not he liked it because it was ridiculous is another story. But
let the madness spread on its own.
Let the madness spread. It's kind of like the whole Left Shark thing back in, when that happened. Send all your Left Sharks to Darius. I'm sorry, Darius, I didn't mean to make you quit the game.
Or did he?
I honestly didn't. But it was just one of those things I was like, huh. If I end up being wrong, it was fun to spend a little bit of time doing that because I needed a distraction. If I end up being right, I'll be the first one to point that kind of thing out. Just saying. But I got some people that thought it was funny, so.
At least on a satisfaction scale, though, on a production quality satisfaction scale for this short item, what would you give it on a scale of 1 to 5?
In terms of the animation or just overall voice,
Well,
what?
this is not a fully animated thing. This is
Yeah.
something in the theme of the almost freeze frame, like living comic book sort of thing,
Yeah.
where there's minimal animation, if any, and it sort of takes you frame by frame with voiceovers and song throughout. I thought it was one of their best ones outside of like the Hanzo versus
Genji,
Genji.
the Overwatch.
Yeah.
But that was a full-on animation. In terms
Right, but as far as quality goes,
this
that was my
style, this was
favorite.
in terms of this style, I think this was the best one. Godan to me was the other one I liked.
The one where he went and found Illidan.
No. For this style of thing, not where
Right,
he
but
went.
which? I got you. The sort of like the
village.
comic thing. Yeah, the village
the motion comic kind of thing.
motion.
Yeah, this one and then Godan. As much as I hate to admit it, Khadgar would be the next one. And then
I thought Khadgar's one was sort of like telegraphed for a little weak.
it was, but I still liked it. It was
He looked weird. He looked really weird.
My issue though, Illidan would have been a higher one on the list for me, except that you are now prepared. I was like, that's just in there because no. So I just that one flew down the list. This is the best one of that. The Jaina
I
one
would
was the
agree.
best one.
The Jaina one was the best one yet.
The fact that it was a song was weird. They made it make sense. It was still a little strange. I can't say I talked to her, but on Twitter I've been able to have interaction with at least. So I won't ever claim to know her or anything like that, but no, I know of her. That was weird because I'd never actually heard her sing before. Not with her actual voice, like she does voices.
All right, I'm following you now.
Yeah.
I'm following.
So I'd never actually heard that, and I was like, "Is that? Oh crap! It is." That was my first reaction to it. I was like, "I know that voice." And then after a few minutes later, she's like, "Yeah, that was so much fun to do," and I was like, "I knew it." So yeah, Laura Bailey's her name. She's pretty cool.
Impressive.
Yes. But yeah, it was my favorite one out of all of them so far. So my question I'm going to give you, I never actually answered your question, so I will say overall 5. There was a couple things I was like, but overall I think her voice is what pushed it back up to 5.
Yeah,
because it was.
I would agree.
So I'm going to have 2 questions for you. First off, I want you to answer your own question. Where would you rank it?
On a 1 to 5, I think this is a 5. They're getting better. So, yeah, they're setting the bar. I'm sure the production value for this is lower than it would be for a fully animated. But with regards to the actual, what you get out of it and what they can communicate in that kind of art form piece, it's their best output yet.
Yeah.
Shanty aside, and I'm a huge fan of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, whatever. So, I have 2 questions for you. Number 1, who do you think will be the one that comes out this week? Is it going to be Ashara or Sylvanas?
If it's one of the two, Ishara and not Sylvanas. Sylvanas is always going to be paired with Anduin for this expansion. I think that's pretty clear.
And I'll be nice enough to answer the question before I ask you the next one. My answer will depend on quote-unquote spoilers for Tuesday. If you know what's going to happen Tuesday, then you know what's going to happen Tuesday. Depending on which way it goes, that's the one they're going to pick. But because of what happens the week after that, I do think Sylvanas will be saved for last. So I think Ashara will be the next one. Unless they're trying to save her for any specific reason.
You mean like a spoilery reason or like a... Yeah.
Yeah. Possible. But my second question, do you think either of these will be also songs? Or do you think Jaina was a one-off song, despite how well it was received?
I think Jaina's is going to be a one-off song because it's integral to her background with the sailing nation of Kulturas, and anything additional that comes in song form will have to specifically be attached to some other relevant bit of culture.
Yeah, so I could see Ashara as being a song, because we have no knowledge of who's voicing her at all. Not that I could find. We don't know if they can sing or not. That would help. But we don't know anything about what she's been doing for the past 10,000 years. So they could go...
Not karaoke.
Yeah, they could do whatever they want and be like, yeah, this is what's been going on, and here you go. Whereas with Sylvanas, yeah, I'm pretty sure she can sing. The voice actor, I mean. But having Sylvanas sing is out of character for any reason.
It won't be Sylvanas singing. It will be her Banshee consort, or not Banshee, or her whatever her entourage.
Yeah, either way,
if they did that,
I think singing for the Sylvanas one would be wrong.
I could give you a maybe on that. Maybe Sylvanas would be singing a song if it was a song from when she and her three sisters were like children or something.
I mean,
maybe something loaded with foreshadowing.
Yeah. Chat room was like, the Lament of the Highborn could be in it. Maybe. I think that in particular could be in the cinematic motion thingy, comic thing. But I don't think that the Sylvanas one is going to be a song. There could be music in it.
Yeah, I don't think any of the other ones are going to be a song. Not like Jaina's. Jaina's is about her.
Well, I mean, they're all going to be about the characters, but if either of the other two are music related, like vocal music focused on Ashara, maybe there probably will be something musical, maybe probably even the Lament of the Highborn, for Sylvanas to show her being still partially human-ish compared to what we're seeing in game. But I would be fine if neither one of them were music. If Sylvanas has Lament of the Highborn and Ashara one has something in it, that's fine. I wouldn't consider that. But if with the Jaina one, it felt normal. Once you got once you got used to it, it was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I can't think of a situation where it makes sense for Sylvanas, her thing to be a song.
Yeah, I generally agree with that.
Yeah, so if they do it, maybe they know better. It's entirely possible.
Maybe there's like a N'Zoth shanty that she can sing.
That would probably be Ashara's if that happened, but yeah. Alrighty, so unless you have anything else, I think that's pretty much a show. I'm trying to keep it close to an actual hour for show because I know you're not feeling well.
I'm struggling a little.
Yeah, I noticed. That's why
I must look amazing.
So we'll go ahead and unless you have anything, we'll go ahead and move on. And say, do you have any shout-outs and or how do people get a hold of you kind of thing?
Yeah, you can find me loitering about in most of the CTR and Vex Discord stuff on World of Warcraft Galvanid. And also, Galvanid Online is my Twitter handle and Twitch TV/Galvanid. And I love playing a variety of games. My core stuff is obviously streaming the raids from Fire Department and Vex's team. And then I try to do as much Hearthstone as I can fit in, and lately I've been doing some Fork Knife, because that's a really dang fun game. So, yeah, shout-outs, shout out to my girlfriend tonight for putting up with me on being sick and whatnot, but, yeah, that's all I got for you.
Alrighty. As for me, At Draven Dresden over on Twitter, easiest way to get hold of me. As for shoutouts, honestly, I haven't been in game hardly at all this week. It's been literally, okay, what's new? Whoosh, right through it. Okay, done. Okay, I want to see the other faction. Whoosh, right done. Oh, you can skip stuff. So once you do it once, you can skip it on every single character. I do recommend doing at least one on each faction if you want to see story.
I want to do the Horde one, and that's why I asked you before pre-show.
Yeah. If you do it once, you go either to Anduin or Sylvanas, depending on which one. Sylvanas is in Undercity, not Orgrimmar. Do not make that mistake. Blizzard planned ahead for this. They put a portal up instead of the blimp. The Zeppelin. But she's in Undercity. You go, you turn it in, you take the next quest, boom, pops up. I've seen this story before. Skip it, and you go straight to the boats or whatever, and you go and you can do the dailies. I level 210 gear. Sometimes it's an upgrade for some characters. Alts. Or if you took some time off. Or sometimes you just want to go for the transmog. That's perfectly fine too. But in terms of shout-outs, honestly, I will give a shout-out to anyone who has dealt with me for this week. Or, in some cases, not been able to deal with me because I haven't been around. Depending on your point of view, sometimes one is better than the other one.
We appreciate it.
The not being around? Yeah, I figured.
Well, yeah. Well, both of them, in equal measure.
Yeah. So, there's that. Things I need to mention. Patreon. If you want to send us money for some strange reason, we'll say thank you. Won't understand it, but we will say thank you and, actually be appreciative. Patreon.com/podcastepicfail. $1 all the way up to whatever amount is up there. I don't know. I think there's a $100 mark, which I think anyone who put that on there would be absolutely insane. But, I'm absolutely insane, and so it's there. Another thing, Discord, bit.ly/epicfail Discord. Come say hi. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. It's a slower Discord. It's, we're still slow, low pop Discord. Unlike some other Discords that you can't keep up because it's always like, because you have 10,000 people in them and you just can't keep up ever. So you end up muting it because you can't keep up and you're just like, oh, okay.
It's usually got some pretty concise and good stuff too.
Yeah. And other than that, there's been a lot of D&D shows out there, but I found a group and they wanted to do it. So it's an audio show, Secrets of TALONGUARD. I'm having fun. I got to play basically a demon person wizard. It's a tiefling wizard. So that was fun.
Fling that tea.
Let me see if I can pull it up. I got one of the players, their kid actually did artwork. Let me see where it is. Where is it? It's in here. Okay. Ah. No. Dang it. It's not being nice.
I can see it.
Whatever.
I can see it.
It's not letting me pick crap, but there it is. Part of it anyway. Red-skinned, demon-looking dude in black robes.
It's a Sith Lord wizard.
Kind of, yeah. He's not quite pure evil, but yeah, kind of. And I can't really go into anything because I know at least one person who's in the game is in chat. And that would be wrong. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, we've been having fun. I may have incited a multi-country war this last episode we did. We're not playing tomorrow, sadly, because some people can't make it. So next week after that, it'll be great. We'll find out if I actually did start a war. And, yeah, that'll be entertaining. But the last thing I do have to mention, because we do use music from somewhere and you got to give them credit. So first off, thank you. bensound.com. Our opening theme song is from there. I am still working on an outro. There's a couple I'm thinking about. I just haven't decided yet. But I can use these things because it's basically Creative Commons Attribution 3.0. Basically, give them credit, you can use it. So with that, Galv, do you have any last words?
She's so salty.